Well, welcome back to the channel, guys. Today is going to be probably the last video that shows the red wagon. This is finally going up for sale. I mentioned it in the last video about me getting the S4, that I would be getting rid of this car, and today's that day. I haven't actually posted for sale, but this is the last step to it getting posted for sale. As you can tell, it's a mess. It's been sitting for a while. It's dirty, disgusting, so it needs a wash. And on top of that, I'm not selling it with these wheels on it. Those are going to disappear. Well, they're going to sit in the corner of my garage because I just can't bring myself to get rid of them. So first we need to swap wheels. Then after that, we will be giving this a wash. And while all that's going on, if I have enough time, I'm going to go through the story of how this car got me into Volkswagens and a little bit of the backstory of this car just in general. I know I've told bits and pieces of it over the course of making videos with this car, but this is going to be one succinct video of all of that information. How this car came into my life, how it got me into VWs, and yeah, just a little bit of the background of it. So it's going to be a trip down memory lane. This is also the first car that I'm ever going to be selling. I've kept every car that I've owned so far, so it sucks a little bit, but it's what has to happen to have new toys. So with that, let's get started on swapping wheels. Before I get into the details on the wagon, the wheels I'm swapping on are my friend Jarrett's old winter wheels from his all-track, because he wanted to get rid of them anyways, and I didn't want to get rid of the BBSs. Plus, on the off chance that this car goes to the scrapyard, it's definitely not going to the scrapyard on the BBSs. For those of you that have been around for a bit, some of this might be repeated from other videos, but this is my 2009 Volkswagen Jetta Sportwagen TDI. My mom bought this brand new at the dealership in 2008, meaning this car has been around in my life for almost 16 years at this point. Some of the cool facts about this car: 1, this car is salsa red, not tornado or any of the other reds that VW produced, and it also does not have any clear coat failure, which you all should know is decently rare for red VW paints. They seem to always have clear coat issues. 2, this car is a one model year only car. VW released the Jetta Sportwagen in 2009, and it is the only model year of these wagons that have the Mark V style front end. This is evident with the chrome front grills that the front end has. All the other Jetta Sportwagens from 2010 on have front ends that mimic Mark VI front ends, and those have a black grille. That's just a couple things that I find cool about this car versus other wagons that you may see on the road. But now for the story of how this car started my journey into loving Volkswagens. Growing up, I wasn't the kid that was hugely into cars. Of course, I loved Fast and Furious just as much as the next 10-year-old, and I had tons of Hot Wheels and monster trucks as toys, but I really didn't show much interest in cars as far as wanting to work on them or modify them. But with my mom buying this in 2008, I would have been around 11 years old, meaning I wasn't far off from being of age to drive. So when I finally came around to get my license and my parents asked me what kind of car I'd like, I said I wanted a VW. Now, we're going to take a pause right there real quick. I realize that some of you probably have the thought that I was just some spoiled kid in high school and my parents went out and bought me a brand new car to drive around. And honestly, there's some truth behind that. My parents did go out and buy me a car when I got my license, but my parents' deal for both my sister and I was that we had to maintain good grades, we had to stay out of trouble, and we couldn't be menaces to society. As long as we did those things, my parents would keep a car on the road for my sister and I to drive while we went through high school and college. I realize how fortunate I am that my parents did that for me, and I really do appreciate that they helped me out with doing that at such a young age. My parents were smart enough that they didn't buy us brand new cars to go out and drive. We both got used cars that were relatively inexpensive. That way, in the event that something did happen to them, it wasn't the end of the world. you know, they would still be complete losses, but they weren't cars that you would put full coverage insurance on by any means. They weren't worth that amount of money. But now with that, I can get back off my soapbox and we can get back to the video. So the reason for me saying that I wanted a VW was because of this Jetta Sportwagen. I love the fuel mileage that these little diesels could get, and also loved that it sounded like a diesel truck when you stepped on it. It was always good to turn some heads, and also confuse a lot of people at gas stations when you grab the diesel nozzle. Of course, the VW diesels always held their value super well, so it wasn't possible for me to get a TDI as my first car, so instead I got a 1.8T. And that's where the gray Mark IV GTI comes in. It was a dream of mine to bag this wagon and make it roll coal and just drive the absolute crap out of it. But as you see from the rest of this channel, I have enough projects on the go, so that unfortunately never came to fruition. The age of this car is just finally starting to show, and there's some intermittent issues popping up that I don't feel like dealing with, nor does the value of this car warrant repairing them. So that's why this car has to move out. If by chance it doesn't sell, then I'm going to pull the motor out of it and stick it in the corner, and then maybe one day that motor will find its way into the Mark I pickup truck. Hopefully for my sake it just sells and I don't have to do that, but time will tell. So that's the story of how I got into Volkswagens. Hope you guys enjoyed. Leave a comment below on how you guys got into these cars, because I really love hearing those kind of stories, and I really would like to hear how you guys got into these. So leave a comment down below. It's gonna be a really sad day to get rid of this car. It's been in my life for a really long time now, and yeah, like all good things must come to an end, and this car has served its purpose, and it's time to go on to another life and be enjoyed by somebody else. So I really love this thing, but it just is what it is. So that's going to wrap up this video. So if you made it this far, thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing. And we'll see everybody next time.